Hello, welcome to another Amulet video. We're going to be trying out today an idea that I've been interested in, kind of like pre-cyboarding against decks like Murktide. So you're going to see that we have access to a main deck Endurance. That I'm doing this in my usual list. I just made the switch over the second copy of Explorer. So I think Endurance is just very well positioned right now. I think it lines up well against Living, obviously against Murktide, as I just said. And there's like a bunch of other random decks where Endurance can truly do a lot of heavy lifting. So because of that, I wanted to give this a shot. We're still playing our 2 copies of Cultivator Colossus and Primeval Titans, and that's kind of like our top end right there. And then we have a ramp in Azusa, Dryad, Explorer, Warrior, Gracer. You're going to see that we are a little bit slanted towards red because I wanted to make room for 1 Fire Spout in the sideboard. I'm not super sold on this card. Every time I'm splashing, I'm a little bit hesitant, but the main thing that we're going to be splashing for is going to be we're going to be wanting a Fire Spout again is going to be Magus of the Moon. So because of that, like the Magus kind of fixes your mana for Fire Spouts anyway. So this is pretty good against stuff like Yawgmoth, pretty good against stuff like, you know, like Red Rim mid-range decks or whatever. So let's see how this goes. I think I would probably even bring this against Murktide for what's worth. I'm not super sold on it, but we'll see how it works. But yeah, besides that, we have like your classic Amulet deck list, some basics, Radiant Fountain, Castle Garenbrig, and I was considering adding Bojuka Bog instead of a Radiant Fountain in the main deck, but since I'm already having access to Endurance, they seem like overdoing it a little bit, and I always try to favor the untapped lands in the main deck as opposed to the ETB tapped ones. So that's why we have access to the Bojuka Bog in the sideboard instead of the main deck. But if you wanted to do something like you could, you know, cut a Cavern for the Bog or whatever, like there's still like little tinkering and changes that we can do to the mana base for sure. As far as the sideboard goes, as I was saying, we have access to Fire Spout, Bojuka Bog, stuff like that. Dismember for Yawgmoth, for Magus as well. Force of Vigor against the artifact decks. Endurance, because as I was saying, the card is great. So we have 2 more copies in the sideboard. Tireless Tracker against Blood Moon decks, against grindy decks as well. Engineered Explosives, another sweeper. I was considering Fire Spout or second copy of Explosives. I'm going with Fire Spout for now. We'll see whether it works out or not. Emrakul, the Promised End, is there mostly against the Yorion pile decks. 1 singleton copy of Relic Progenitus. This is pretty good against Murktide, pretty good against Living In and whatnot. And it's a card that we can find off of our Ursa Saga, which is nice. And then Cavern of Souls, Boseiju, and Bojuka Bog are some extra toolbox lands that we have access to as well. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And if you're interested in me playing a list of your choosing on a video or on stream and then giving you my thoughts or whatever, you can find all the information you need in the description down below. And the same is true if you're interested in coaching as well. Without further ado, let's go into some matches. Alrighty, opponent reveals Yorion. I think that's fine. Opponent moves to 6. We really want to dodge an early Ren 6. But here we can go turn 1 Gracer, turn 2. Okay, so they're just playing some Yorion pile. It's pretty nice. Okay. So I think we still want to go Gracer because it plays around what's his name better? Plays around Prismatic Ending better. Okay. Well, that's very interesting. So I think I'm just gonna pass the turn here and I'm gonna Endurance in my opponent's end step. And then yeah, I'm just gonna Endurance in my opponent's end step, see what they do. Okay, another fetch, Recent Reef. Okay, so apparently everybody's just playing the Recent Reef version of the deck these days, which is so much worse for us Amulet players. So Endurance, interesting. So we play Amulet, we have Castle Garenbrig, and then we are 2 mana off. So I guess we can't do anything here. We can't Titan right now, so I'm just going to attack and pass the turn. Maybe my opponent will tap out. There's an argument for just playing Gracer and playing out the Vesuva there, but I think having the surprise may be more impactful. Also, this way I don't have to bounce the land. Yeah, 4 mana. Okay. How do I want to navigate this? Let's lead on this. See what opponent does. Here's the Dryad. We doing anything? No. Play Grazer. Copy. And we still have the extra land drop from the Dryad here. I just have to jam, right? I just have to jam and assume that my opponent doesn't have the counter spell. And that they don't have the Magus. Although I guess that we can actually beat Magus, so it's not that big of a deal. But we have to hope for no counter spell. But the problem is that it's not really getting better for us. So that's good actually. I'm surprised that worked. So I think I want to get fetch land. Do I go for haste? If I go for haste and they Solitude then untap, I think it's not getting better for me, right? I already have another Summoner's Pact in hand, so I'm gonna go for it. Hope that my opponent does not have Magus. I can beat the Solitude fairly easily, I think. What I cannot beat is the Magus. There's the Solitude. Pitching Call, by the way. We'll see if they also have. We'll see if they also have an Ephemerate to go with that. Please don't have it. Please. They do have it. Yeah, and this is why this matchup is so bad, right? This is precisely why this matchup is so bad. We just have no answers to the recent Reef. That's the problem. So like my opponent is always trading up on resources. Like as soon as I see a recent Reef, like that's just such a big deal. Needless to say that they go way over the top of what we do. And it comes to a point where we just don't have enough stuff. We just don't have enough things that we can play. Opponent is down to 11. 4 cards in hand. Fetch is bad news because it probably means Omnath. Looks like an Omnath. Oh, Teferi. That one we can beat a lot more easily. Also, that means that they don't have Magus, which is good. Alright, so we're going to pay for Pact. That's very interesting. Okay, so we're going to attack, I guess. Do I attack with both? Because if I attack with both, I think I want to attack with both. So now they either let the Teferi go, or they have to double to block with both, and then whichever one they put the Recent Reef on, I just kill the Recent Reef. But yeah, this is the better play. Like I don't care about the damage, right? Like I'm at 31. They could have used mana to Yorion, but they didn't. So I have to imagine they have a Eldrar's Call or something. Lightning Bolt maybe? Call. Oh, so they're calling for what? Omnath? It's gotta be Omnath. Yep. I mean, next turn we got some fireworks going. Next turn we do have some fireworks going. Omnath's good. No effects. So we have to dodge Solitude, Ephemerate. Only 4 cards in hand. Huh, maybe they'll tap out. Because they can fetch. That's 5 mana. Yeah, they can actually cast Yorion here if they want to. And if they tap out, at that point they can only have Solitude plus white card. They're going to have 7 cards though. But they can only have so many Solitudes plus white cards. The Elemental deck is so cool. I'm a big fan. Just snowballs so quickly. The Fairy. Huh, interesting. They're going to balance their own. They do not balance their own Solitude. They do not balance their own Solitude. Okay. So let's play that. Let's play that. And let's do this. So we're going to do this here. Then we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I have enough. Unless I have miscounted. But this is 6 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bounce this. Transmute for Summoner's Pact. We're going to Pact for Colossus here. Maybe I should have started with Pact for Colossus and then Titan. Oof. Giant. Going off here. It's a blue source. We can name Dryad with this one. Alright. We are doing it. Does this count as doing it? This may count as doing it. No more lands to choose from. Okay. Let's stack some triggers, shall we? So this one goes on the stack first. Ugh, then all of the Amulet triggers. The order doesn't matter. This is hilarious. And then the Saga. Alright, Sagas. Float mana. Float mana. I guess I don't want to float that just yet. So for everything we want to just float the first mana, but not the second one, because Dryad is gonna fix our mana for everything. Colossus is such a silly card. What do I want to do here? Do I just want to... I guess double striking doesn't really matter. I can double strike the prime time. So we can still haste here. Float. Leave that there. Float mana. Bounce this. Then Dryad. And now we're gonna Vesuva, copy Stronghold. I'm assuming my opponent doesn't have counter magic. Untap. Haste the prime time. Untap. Play this. I think we have enough mana, so I don't really need to crack this right now. We're going to, however, tap this for red, tap this for white. We're gonna haste Cultivator. Go to combat. Can you go to attacks? We know they have Yorion in hand, so if they have Solitude, they can pitch. We really want to dodge Ephemerate, though. We probably cannot beat Ephemerate. Even after everything that we did right then, we're still probably dead to Ephemerate. I guess it can't be Ephemerate. It needs to be Solitude plus Ephemerate. Because both the Cultivator and the Prime Time are lethal. Because the Cultivator is just big enough, and because the Prime Time finds Valakut, so the Dryad is also lethal. So they need to have both Solitude and Ephemerate. Alright, there's Ephemerate. I guess double Ephemerate also does it. And I think that's what my opponent's drawing towards. Oh, I guess now... Okay, got there. Alright, Cultivator. Kind of went off pretty hard there. Worked out. Okay, so bring in the removal. How do we feel? Don't love Gracers. How do we feel about explosives? I think we probably have to bring it in, even though I don't like it. We probably have to bring it in, and I want to cut one Saga. I think that's it. Maybe two Sagas, because they have Magus that they can tutor for. So let's go with this. Game 2, opponent keeps 7. This hand is terrible. This hand is also very bad, but I guess it's better than the other one. The issue with this hand is that it just dies to Prismatic Ending, which is not where you want to be. Okay, but I have to do this, right? Like, I have to play the Amulet on one, because if I draw a Susa or Dryad, I need to be able to play it. The opponent unsurprisingly has the Prismatic Ending. Hey, that's funny. Like, I'm just gonna do the same thing here. Play a second Amulet, say go. So the nice thing here is that, never mind, because I don't think I want to transmute on turn 3 anyways. We're missing the third color for these explosives, which is kind of awkward. Another Prismatic Ending. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna play it. I guess I'm gonna play around Spell Pierce. Name Giant here. I think I'm gonna play around Spell Pierce here. They have March. Omen of the Sea. Wow, that's clunky. That is hella clunky. I mean, if you're playing Omen of the Sea, isn't it better to at that point just play Spreading Seas? Like, what's the point of playing the Omen? Bounce Land is great because now I can just transmute this T-West away for Summoner's Pact and pass the turn. So now if my opponent finds an answer to the Amulet, it's going to be likely an annoyance, but it's not really that big of a deal. Magus of the Moon, though, I do care about. And I guess that's what my opponent's going to be finding now. They do kind of lock themselves out a little bit, to be honest. So it's not that super big of a deal. Meddling Mage. Okay. Well, I guess we're just going to engine explosives for 2. I don't know how I feel about Meddling Mage here. Okay, so opponent probably not playing Magus, right? because they have not found a single basic. So Melee Mage here is barely an annoyance, unless they have like Dovin's Veto or something for this. We also get an Omen of the Sea for our troubles, which is nice. Summoner's Pact has been named? What? No way. So I guess they want to prevent me from getting Colossus? Okay, so I think that's what's going on. It's obviously not gonna work out for them, but I guess that's the next level. That's the next level play here. Here's my prep time. And I'm going to go for haste, because if my opponent has the thing, they're gonna, like, we're getting a 2-for-1, a very clean 2-for-1, and we already have the Summoner's Pact plus explosives ready. So my opponent could Solitude here, pitching Yorion or whatever, but it's not really that big of a deal. I mean, it's basically gonna take a turn from us. Yep. Pitching Yorion. So now we don't have to worry about the Yorion anymore. Solitude is now gone. I think this is overall a good exchange for us. And they don't have counterspell, because otherwise they would have probably held on to it. Nice. So this costs 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's this card. Okay, that resolved. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, never mind. It costs 12 right now. It's gonna cost, next turn is gonna cost, okay, sure. So they could have a red and 6, so I'm just gonna crack explosives on their end step. Happy to just take 3 here. Boop. It's not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can pact for a Titan just so I can enable their Emrakul, which is hilarious. I'm just gonna, play the Titan instead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe Giant here. Yeah, with only 4 cards, I don't think. Again, Magus of the Moon is probably the only card that makes it a problem here. So let's go get Tulare West and a basic forest because of that. So this way I get to play around Magus of the Moon pretty nicely. And I think I'm just gonna go for haste. My opponent can just hardcast a Solitude here, which seems fine. Got it. So next turn we're just gonna pay for our pact. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so we're just gonna Emrakul the following turn, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boss Sage. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or we're just 1 mana short. Okay. Here's my Dryad. Play this out. Float for blue. Bounce. Blue. Set up my next prime time. And we're gonna haste this Dryad, swing for 4 for good measure. Get in there, Dryad. Boom. For ya. And now we can just, even if my opponent blood moons me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Any land just casts Emrakul, which is hilarious. Yeah, these Omen of the Seas, man. They're looking so clunky. I don't think that's what you want to be doing. Oh, the classic scry, then fetch. Tale as old as time. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about fetching when you have Omnath in your deck. Fury? Okay. It's more boring, but it's more lethal. So I guess we're gonna go for that. We can also just we can just go for Emrakul, right? Let's just do it. So this costs only 8 mana. Whew. I'm sorry, but I'm only human. Who can resist? Ephemerate? Okay, Evoked Solitude, pitching Solitude. Alright, you got me. Up to 34. Ooh, we get to crack Omen of the Sea and make their roster bad. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Omen of the Sea, clearly terrible, because when your opponent takes your turn with Emrakul, they put a bad card on top. Opponent Unholy Heats their own Fury. Opponent Unholy Heats their own Fury. That's so weird. This gives me more information, and I may draw like a Solitude or something. Flooded Strand. So we're going to play this. We're gonna fetch, fail to find. Abundant Growth, Call, Fury, Omen of the Sea. Knight of Autumn, Fairy, double wear there, double Path to Exile. Okay. And now we're going to scry something bad to the top. Yeah, those are going to the bottom. Well, that's unfortunate. Alright, so I guess we don't know what my opponent's drawing. But they were drawing literally the best possible card, so we have to get rid of those. I think they're actually just out of Solitude, so Ephemerate is the only thing that does anything. 1, 2, 3, here's my Dryad. Pact. Prime time. Here's my prime time. Here's Johnny. So the T-Wests are gone. Just gonna go for double Valakut here. And now Ephemerate doesn't do anything because we have the land over here, the fetch land. So this is just a lock. Just win. Alright, sweet. 1-0. 2-0 in what is usually a challenging matchup. Where tear my land? Okay. Kill that. Kill you. I guess that was a punt, because I could have like tapped for white, and now I don't have to get like Vesuva if I want a double strike. Do I care about that? I think I might rather go for double Saga. They don't have answer to double Saga. Actually, they don't have answer to this Primeval Titan. They're just out of Solitudes. These Omens. I am pretty sure that they have no outs. Yep, there we go. Sweet. Jeez. Alright, another Yorion matchup. Man, these are exhausting. I'm gonna ship the Gracer hand though. This hand's good though. I like this. So we're gonna keep, and I think I'm gonna ship the Windsweep Heath. So turn 1 Amulet, hope to dodge. Hope to dodge your turn 1 Prismatic Ending. Dodged it like a champion. And it's interesting. So I guess because we drew specifically this, I want to develop my mana now, and I'm gonna go play Dryad, play Castle, and we're gonna play the Expedition map. And the reason to play Castle here is that now my opponent can kill the Dryad, and if I draw a bounce land, I still get to do my thing. Do I play around Counterspell? That's the question here. That is indeed the question. I think the answer is no. I think the answer is no. I could have gone for Colossus there, which would have been it's an interesting thought. But I think that I'm supposed to just do this. So we're just gonna make Titan mana here, bounce Castle, and just play this. If they have Counterspell, we are very sad. Every time this happens, man, it just feels so terrible. Yeah. They're probably playing like 2, maybe 3 copies of Counterspell. They just happen to draw it. It's so brutal. Alright, what now? Iteration. Okay, so we're playing against a probably not recent Reef version of the deck. Another Dryad. So we're just gonna find Tolaria West, I guess. And if we find a bounce land, we get to haste the Titan, which is nice. Wait, to cast the Titan, sorry. It's this Prismatic Ending. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Ha. I guess that's a card. Whoops, misclicked. Yikes. Big yikes. I guess it doesn't really change anything. Transmute for another Pact. And I think I attack. So we're gonna have to now dodge a Counterspell. Honestly, with second Dryad already in hand, there's almost an argument for getting Valakut there. But the thing is that unless we find the other missing piece, then we're not really doing anything. Missing piece being a bounce land or like another land. There's no reason for me to jam into Counterspell. Oh, they just do this. Okay. So maybe they have... Maybe they have... What's his name? Ephemerate? Ephemerate? Yes or no? And Holy Heat. Okay. Pass the turn. Ugh. It's kind of brutal. My opponent's playing a weird deck over there. Super weird deck. The Minus and Solitude. Okay. That means that they're not going to be able to make copies with Reflections. But they may have Counterspell, right? Yeah, that's what's going on. They just have Counterspell in hand. I could have played this game very differently. Just playing around Counterspell and setting up my stuff differently. Yeah, the last card is 100% Counterspell. I guess one of the last 3 cards. The problem is I don't think that we can really do anything about it. So I think we're just gonna explore here. See what my opponent does. Boseiju. That kills the reflection of the Kiki-Jiki. Does that even do anything for me? Huh. I mean, I just have to play into Counterspell. I don't think there's anything else I can do at this point. Because like things get worse the more time that goes by. Like my opponent is more likely every time to find a Counterspell. So I think I just have to jam. That sucks. Alright, show me the Counterspell. Oh. Hello? Hello there. So they could have Unholy Heat or they could have more Solitudes. So I think I'm going to go for double Saga here. And I am going to blow up. I am going to blow up the Kiki-Jiki, I think. They could have Ephemerate, I guess. The thing is my opponent's playing like a pretty weird brew, so I don't know what to play around and what to not play around. So it's 4 colors. I guess no Omnath, because they wouldn't be fetching like that. They have Fable in multiples, apparently. They're playing Counterspells, they're playing Solitudes. They're cycling K3 Triumphs. And Spada's Headquarters. And conceding the game. Okay. So, weirdo deck. So, definitely want Castle Garenbrig. I think... Definitely want Emrakul. Do I want this? I don't think so. I think I do want Tracker. Endurance seems solid versus Heat. I guess Bog is fine as a one-off. Can cut the Fountain. Can maybe cut 1 Saga. Bring another Endurance. Relic's probably fine. No, I think I'd rather have Endurance than Relic. Let's go with this. My opponent could be playing Magus. If they show me Magus, because I didn't see any Ephemerates, I didn't see that Amber Skull. In fact, I saw Fable, which probably means more of the opposite, right? Like they're not messing around with that kind of stuff. So yeah, this hand's unkeepable regardless. So this hand's okay. Let's keep this. I think I'm gonna bottom Emrakul. I'm gonna be shuffling the deck before we get there anyway. So I don't think we've seen the last of the Promised End. Fetch land. Here's a map. I wonder if my opponent Prismatic Endings the map. It's probably worth doing. So let's go Bujukubaru. So you go. This sets up for Dryad on turn 3 or Endurance. No Red and 6 is good news though. Because with us going Expedition map, there's not really anything that's scary. Yeah, there's a Prismatic Ending. I assume that was probably going to be coming sooner rather than later. Probably have Counterspell, I assume. Iteration. Boseiju has been revealed. So that's not Counterspell mana over there. Most definitely not Counterspell mana. First order of business. Getting there. Bounce this. Play Dryad. Just gonna play second bounce land here. So if we find a Titan, we can now cast it. This is a reasonable amount of pressure. Decent amount of pressure. Another iteration, okay. I wonder if I'm supposed to play around counter magic. Excuse me, I wonder if I'm supposed to play around sweepers. Definitely supposed to play around counter magic, we've seen that already. But sweepers we have not, and I don't know whether to expect a sweeper or not. I'm probably not supposed to do it. Prime time? Current Soul. It's not terrible. So I think, as I said earlier, I'm not going to be playing around, what's his name? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think I could draw Colossus, so I'm going to hold on to my lands. Oh yes. Classic Icefang Quaddle with no basics. Classic Icefang Quaddle with no snow lands in play. Not even close to having the touch of death. Not even close. Fury. EE for 3? Why is my opponent playing explosives against me? Why are they playing EE against me? Anyway, who knows? So I think I'm gonna go for Colossus here, right? Just draw some cards. Kind of a whiff, but it's okay. We will survive. That's a really sad Colossus though. Just draw 2. It got me some good stuff, but Was hoping we could have gotten some more. Swing for 1. Got me. Okay. Pay for my pact. It's an untapped land. So this forces my opponent to Endurance here. To Solitude here, I guess. Now we cast Prime Time. I think we're gonna Growth Chamber T-West. That's the turn. Opponent can like Teferi, minus on their own Solitude, bounce it, replay it, but not too much to be done about that. Would love to see another Colossus. Second Colossus would be neat. Another Solitude. Okay. Okay. Prime Time. Never lucky. Just cast it. Ugh. They have the pack, the counter spell. They have the counter spell. Yeah. Vomit. I think we chill here. We could draw another Colossus. And if that's the case, I'd rather have more cards in hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So even if we draw Emrakul, we can cast it anyways. Ren. Consider bogged last turn, huh? So what do we want to see here? Emrakul, the Promised Land. Another Primeval Titan. Cultivator Colossus. Those are the exciting cards. We have a lot of blanks too. I don't even know what that is. Sadness. Sadness. So we do have a little bit of time. We have what, 2 turns? We have shuffled for Emrakul because we bottomed it when we mulliganed. So we have shuffled. So we could draw it. This is 8 damage. Even with the Ren, that doesn't add up to lethal just yet. They could have Fable, that would speed up the clock. Magus of the Moon. Well, at this point we're on Emrakul or bust, basically. Emrakul? Endurance. Okay. Definitely great to know about the Magus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is not lethal. Damage happens, and now what? So everyone's just playing like a legit control deck, I guess. And their Magus of the Moons are very bad. Or I guess that they just been shuffling. They're just been fetching weird. Like they could have just fixed it. Emrakul is probably still not good enough. Because my opponent has gone too wide at this point. So I'd rather not even show them the cards. So they do have Magus. Fire Spout becomes a lot more exciting. And so does Dismember. And Saga becomes a little bit more of a liability. Still don't think I care for Boseiju. Dismember is just so medium. I think I'm just not going to have this. I straight up lose to the Magus though. Just got an Amulet for Dismember. We can play around the Magus to an extent. But there's only really so much that we can do about Magus if we don't bring in Dismembers. Alright. Sian has a Cavern, which is pretty nice. I think I'm going to keep this. It's a little bit on the awkward side, granted. But it plays around Blood Moon. It plays around Magus nicely. It plays around Counter Magic nicely. It's just sort of a robust hand. Amulet's an okay pickup there. If my opponent taps out to blow up the Amulet, just gonna get Ren going here. That's not Ren mana. Prismatic ending. Okay, so I get to hold on to the Cavern now, which is nice. So fetch land, play this, Dryad, play this out. The argument for going for Endurance as opposed to Dryad is that if my opponent Maguses now, all my lands tap for whatever color I want. Also, my opponent fetched for a basic there. Yep. Makes sense. We can see the Transmute here. I think we're going to just serve. Opponent doesn't have a basic island, so they don't have counter magic up. Still not a basic island. Hey. 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 The classic F6 trick. Do you have the Solitude? You better. Now we got a nice little 2-for-1 there, which is nice. If we find it Prime Time, we may be onto something. Just Prime Time? Saga. Well, Saga is a blank. I think I'm going to Transmute for a Pact. As long as my opponent doesn't have counterspell mana, I think that we may be in fine shape. This Saga only represents if I ever get to cast this Cultivator. It's just a way for me to blow up the Okay, so now they don't have counterspell this turn for me to draw an extra card. That's what I meant to say. No extra card this turn, but any land, please. Any land. Can we draw an extra land? One land. One land. Tracker. Okay. A clue is a clue, I guess. I'm gonna crack this right now. Vesuva. I mean, that's gonna clock the Ren. If they have Solitude, I get to Pact for Prime Time, which finds me 2 more basics. And they know about the Pact, so they kind of know what's coming. Tracker coming in clutch over there. As far as not so great draws that allow me to continue playing the game, that was a pretty good one. Explosives on 3. All right. Guess you gotta do what you gotta do, huh? So what my opponent's trying to do here is they're trying to like bait me, I guess. No, I guess they can't bait me. That's really funny how like this tracker puts so much pressure that my opponent is just... So that kills the Ren. And now we just backed for a Titan, and my opponent needs to crack this, otherwise I just get multiple clues. Like, how do they keep up with this? Yeah, they just just can't keep up with that. That's hilarious. All right, yeah, I'm not sure that the explosive is where my opponent wants to be in this matchup, honestly, but I'll take it. See you next round. All right, what do we got here? We have... This hand is pretty interesting. Like, we have multiple avenues towards turn 4 Titan with a turn 3 Dryad. The issues that were on the draw. This feels like a hand that I would probably keep on the play, but on the draw I'm going to have to ship. And this hand is better. I'll keep this, and I think I'm going to bottom Sunhome. It's either Sunhome or Fetchland. Yeah, let that be the Sunhome. Yeah. What am I playing against? Is this like the Grief Nonsense deck? Probably is the Grief Nonsense deck. Belaka Caverns. Oh, it's just oops. That's so much worse for me. So I guess that my only out here, because my opponent's gonna be too fast for me to pact for my endurance, right? So, man, if we had been on the play, we would have actually been able to win here, which is crazy. Because of that, the only thing that can make it so I win is if I explore into exactly second Amulet and then I just kill my opponent. Because if I go explore into like whatever, right? Like I play this off explore in order to like make my mana a little bit better. Then I don't actually have a lethal line. So the lethal line involves pacting for Azusa with double Amulet in play. So because of that, if I play Sanctuary, bounce Sanctuary itself and explore, then I can find either I naturally draw the endurance, or I can find an amulet and I can actually win. And that means that we lose. Unlucky. We lost the die roll and we're gonna lose because of that. So 2 chills. Let me take a little peek here. We see no Belchers, but they have Thassa Circle, they have 4 Vengevines, and I'm just dead to the thing, right? Can filter mana with Jack-o'-lantern. Yeah, this is just me being dead. Okay. Okay, so endurances are good. Bujibo doesn't do anything. Boseiju is fantastic. Relic is good. And Forces. Don't want Cultivator. Probably cut some Caverns. I think this is it. Could cut the last Cavern, I guess. I can cut Tolaria West. T-West gets me Boseiju, I guess. That's very slow. 5 mana to blow up a land. It's probably better than the Cavern, though. It's probably not... no, it's probably better than the Cavern, yeah. We played 2 matches back-to-back that were like 20 minutes each, full of interaction, and then we play against the turn 3 combo deck. that has no interaction whatsoever. That's modern, I guess. That is modern for you. Alright, well, that's an answer for one of the combos. That's an answer for the Belcher, so I'm going to keep this hand. It's very, very slow, but we have some pretty solid interaction. So I'm willing to keep a hand like this against such a bad matchup. My opponent could go turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 3 kill you, but it's not that we can do too much about that anyways, so Good draw though. Love that draw. Good draw. So that's one more layer of interaction that my opponent needs to get through before doing their thing. They're gonna play the castle here. Pass the turn. This allows me to just hardcast the Endurance next turn. 3 mana. Okay. But now at this point I can just pack for Endurance. So this is kind of fine. If they have Belcher, then they're gonna go for the Force here. Primeval Titan. Well, I'm very surprised by that. Is my opponent's plan to just go for... I wonder if they're just trying to go for, like, on the same turn, Belcher and activate. Like, if that's their plan. Hardcast Vengevine. Okay. I think I'm winning this race, right? So, I can just block here. Exile their Vine. Grazer. Does that do anything? It allows me to Titan next turn. Man, every single ETB tap land. It's pretty brutal. Yeah, not much for me to do here. That's a Primeval Titan. But I think because of Belcher, I probably want to just hardcast Force here. We can still pact for Endurance. The opponent knows it. Am I cracking here? I don't think so. Oh, punished. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I guess if they have a land, they just go on tap land, Belcher, kill you. It's a lot of mana. Salvage Titan Hardcast. Guess you gotta do what you gotta do, huh? I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. Opponent's dead. Hardcast Salvage Titan. I don't think I've actually ever seen this before, which is very funny. Alright, that was a sloppy game that we just played. And I think that game number 3 hopefully is going to be just as sloppy. But yeah, I mean, mono interaction is kind of what we want in a way. Alright. Yeah, we have to keep this hand. It's kind of awkward because I want to play Saga on 1. But if I play Saga on 1... Oh, never mind. So I guess now we do both. I don't think my opponent can't play Force, actually, so this is fine. So now we have a turn 3 kill. Painted Prison. Okay, so now... I think we just Azusa plus Force here. I think that's the play. Which means that we're just gonna play the Gruul Turf twice. Bounce, play this, bounce. A little bit awkward that we're not gonna be able to kill my opponent next turn because we just drew both of our combo lands. Maybe there's a lethal line, however, because we're going to have double Amulet next turn. So maybe there's a lethal line available to us. Funny that if they play the Pelaka whatever card, it's going to whiff. Yeah. Yep. That's very funny. Summoner's Pact. Alright, so I guess we just get Relic here? Because we can't haste anyways. Yeah, so I think we're just going to go for Relic. And just play this, haste, just to swing for 3. And then we're going to play this. And now we're going to attack. Having another Summoner's Pact is pretty nice though. So now if my opponent does have a Thoughtseize, we don't care too much. Shout out to Azusa working overtime here. Shout out to Azusa working overtime. Wait, so this is basically my opponent just conceding, I guess? Unless I'm missing something? Did they miss that there's a Relic in play? Because they can't, even if they have Thassa Circle in hand, they can't cast it. I have no way of making blue, which they do actually have Thassa Circle in hand, because I don't see it here. Oh, my opponent is telling me in chat. Yeah, my opponent is like, oh shit, you searched out for Relic, whoops. That's funny. I guess just a brain fart on my opponent. Alright, see you next round. Okay, Yorion once again on the other side. Opponent's name is turn 1 Vile, so do we think they're on taxes? Regardless, this hand is unkeepable, so. Huh. I think we have to go to 5, honestly. We could go like, yeah, there's just no, it's just a bad hand. Well, I'm keeping this one, and we're crossing fingers. But I don't think just going to 4 is going to help my chances by that much. Bloodstained Mire. Land. Oops. F6. I think this is a fine keep on 5. Like, we already have to get pretty lucky when we're mulliganing into 5 already. So I think I'm okay just rolling the dice and having a very, very good hand if we find any land off the top. So yeah, this is fine. Obviously, it hasn't worked out, but we still probably have like 1 turn, maybe 2, where we can find an untapped land. Like if I find untapped land now, oh, never mind. Never mind. So opponent's on some Mardu Reanimator nonsense, huh? I guess we could draw Endurance. Burial Rites? Okay. Land. Opponent plays Godless Shrine tapped. Ugh. I think I'm just gonna concede here. Hide the information. We know my opponent's doing Reanimator stuff. They don't know what we're up to. I'm pretty sure they assumed what we're up to. It's me after all, but so I'm going to assume Magus of the Moon. That's why I have the Fire Spout. I really like Endurance here. I don't think we want Cultivator. Although I guess they could have Necromentia. Let's cut 1 Saga, 2 Sagas. Cut a Cavern of Souls, bring in some trackers, and I at least want to cut 2 Gracers. Maybe just 1 Tireless Tracker. I'm not gonna bring in Dismember. If I actually see Magus, then I'm probably gonna go into Adapt. But could also cut 1 more Gracer. But my opponent could be playing Monkey. At least on the play, we can probably do this. Maybe on the draw, we're gonna need the speed a little bit more. So Gracers are going to get back in. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna keep this. And I think we're gonna go turn 1 Castle. No, we're gonna go turn 1 Saga, because on turn 3 I'm gonna be playing Azusa anyways. We're not gonna get to make tokens. This way I get to play this stuff before the Blood Moon shows up. I get to crack the Saga before Blood Moon shows up. So I think this is worth doing. Wonder if my opponent suspects how close they were to actually losing the previous game. Turn 1 Mire. Go. That's nice. That's nice. Alright, play Boseiju, explore. Oof. Money, money, money. So opponent seems to be on straight up Mardu. Probably no other color. Which is kind of interesting. Wait, did I bring in Bujuga Bog? I think I forgot to bring in Bujuga Bog. Oh, I did. Okay, cool, cool, cool. For a second I freaked out. Alright. Huh. Do we make a construct? Because what we can do is we can float mana, play Azusa, find Expedition map. Because what I'm concerned about is my opponent Blood Mooning me. So I think I'm going to go for Azusa into Expedition map. Okay, Expedition map, play Azusa, Gruul Turf, bouncing Boseiju, and I guess I'm gonna play Teleria West. Let's play Slayer Stronghold. Oops, 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 oops. Why do I have one? Did I miscount the amount of lands that I had? Maybe I miscounted the amount of lands that I had. It's weird. So now if my opponent Blood Moons me, I get to crack for a basic, and I get to go Tracker into get 2 clues, which is not bad. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So this is going to copy Bounce Land, so I do have access to Boseiju to blow this up. It's just a matter of what else do I want. I think it's just going to be a basic. I guess we can get a fetch. Let's get a fetch, which allows me to get 1 more trigger from Tracker. So 3 mana, play Tracker, play fetch, copy here, bounce here. I guess I'm gonna play this out, and I want to Boseiju this now because my opponent showed me that they're playing Reanimator, and we don't want to. Maybe I should have cracked clue there. Let's crack it now. All right, your go, opponents. So even if my opponent goes for Reanimator thing, we have a bunch of clues in play. And next turn we can go Dryad into Transmute. Dryad into Transmute. can only crack Clue, so that's not very good. So I think I'm gonna crack Clue first, I guess. I'll probably get blocking here. What do you got for 6 mana, opponent? Obsidian Charmal. Don't care. Blue white. Oh, that maybe I care a little bit more about. Draw some cards. Huh. I don't think I want to play around my opponent reanimating stuff. I just want to hit my land drops, and I guess miss my land drops is basically the same thing. So swing for 6. We're winning this race. Opponent could have like Entomb into Reanimate, or the modern version of that, which I don't remember what the name of the card is. Unmarked Grave and the other thing. Brutal. Pretty brutal. So let's go 1, 2, crack Clue. Looking for a bounce land here. Not quite. Can I have a bounce land? Not quite. So play this. Swing for a bunch. I assume my opponent's gonna take it. They chomp. Okay. Oh, they have that thing. Okay. Guess I should have played around this, huh? Silly me for not playing around Malakir Rebirth. Wonder what they blow up here. Okay. They blew up the right one. Damn it. Alright, bog you. Pass the turn. I could have played the Amulet there. So now opponent has Yorion. But now Trucker's lethal, so my opponent's going to need to chomp. So now that I know about the Rebirth, I'm just going to play the Relic preemptively. Like, I could have played around that fairly easily. So I'm going to take 4 here. That's fine. So that probably means that my opponent's going to Yorion now, which is probably fine. This is the 4th land they're going to blow up with this Charmal. And it doesn't matter. I should probably blow this one up. Tularia West. Sure, whatever. So now we go Amulet. Relic. Play this. Triggers. Isuva is gone for what's worth. I have to assume they have Solitude, right? I wonder if my opponent's going to kill the Azusa now. Feels like it's a little bit too late for that. They could shatter the Amulet, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't do it though. This is close. Ephemerate. Okay. So I guess that blows up the land. Alright. I'm considering just playing another tracker here, because this already trades for both, so my opponent is just going to have to chomp block here. But I guess that I'm not going to have enough time to crack the clues anyway. It's just a matter of getting the triggers, so I think I'm just going to swing here. Opponent has to chomp. Now we bog. And we can either play something else or we can just crack a clue. I think I'm going to try to crack a clue and see if I can find another land. Okay, didn't get lucky. But I think I'm going to hold on to this relic here. So opponent's going to get to blow up another land, but they still have to find an answer to this massive tireless tracker. 6 lands have been blown up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 lands. Prismatic Ending. Priest of Felorites. That doesn't do anything. I guess that's a chump blocker, so I guess it does something. Definitely doesn't do enough. Clue. Radiant Fountain. Okay, that's just primetime mana. Name Giant. Cost my primetime. We even get to play around Mana Tithe. Whew. It's just hot. It's just hot, hot, hot. We're just gonna get Bounce Land plus Valakut, then we play Dryad and kill this, so we force the chump here. They have no board. Game 3. So my opponent's playing like a super weirdo mid-range deck with a Reanimate package. I think this is fine. If their plan is Charmo and like blink it a bunch of different times, I think this is fine. I even consider cutting the Fire Spout. The problem is that I'm just gonna cut the Fire Spout actually. I'm bringing Dismember. It's an answer to Magus that also stops the Ephemerate shenanigans. Maybe I actively want. I don't think I actively want it. I think the 1 copy is fine. Oof. So if we find a bounce land, this hand just wins straight up. It just straight up wins. I think I'm gonna keep it. There are a couple of different ways that this goes awry. That's pretty good. Name Giant there. And now my opponent's gonna need that prismatic ending. If they tap out, they lose. Oh man. There's the ending. Okay, so now we don't have lethal unless we find another amulet, which seems unlikely. Priest of Felorites. So the play here is going to be I can't Dryad into Endurance, which is brutal. So I guess I'm just gonna Dryad. So we're gonna play this, naming Dryad. Play Dryad. And if I really have to, I can play Endurance and Pact for Endurance. But I guess if my opponent Archons, I just Titan them, right? If they Archon me, I discard, sack, creature. So my opponent can't answer Dryad with a single mana. So I think I'm just gonna go for... Yeah, because we have Valakut. So what happens? Like my opponent Archons, they draw a card, I discard Summoner's Pact. Next turn I play Primeval Titan. I swing for 8. Opponent's gonna be at 20. I think the Archon just raises me. So I'm just gonna Pact for Endurance here. And we're gonna pitch the Titan to Endurance. And we lose to removal spell on the Dryad. But unless they're playing Path to Exile, which I really doubt they are, then, well, there you go. That actually does kill me. But I gain 2 life. Alright, so GG's. And we went on our terms. We went on our terms. I still think that play is correct because of this. Like I have so many draws that get there for me. If my opponent resolves the Archon hits play, my Dryad dies, and all of a sudden my Primeval Titan just sits there. And unless I naturally find another Dryad specifically on that very first draw step, then the Archon just attacks and it just eats my Titan and I'm left with nothing. Well, my opponent keeps drawing cards and stuff. So I think that it's what I did is correct. But yeah, it turns out that they had the Solitude to punish me and just to win the game on the spot. But it is what it is. I still think my decision was correct. See you next round. Alright, last round. Turn 1 Amulet into nothing. Seems like a trap. It's a trap. This hand wins if we find the bounce land, so I think I'll keep this one. On the bottom, the redundant Dryad. And again, I'm not going to be making tokens because I'd rather just use my mana to play either Dryad or Azusa. So turn 1 Saga, your go. Put him also 6. Stomping Ground into Ignoble Hierarch. Bounce land. So I'm not playing the T-West there because I may just transmute this T-West into a bounce land. Don't tell me I'm getting Bloodman here. Oh, come on, man. Really? This is how the last round's gonna go? The blind turn 2 Blood Moon? Sure. Sure thing. Sure thing. Let's play Azusa. Play that. Maybe my opponent will... I know, they minus an Azusa and that allows my Dryad to do stuff. I mean, if I transmute or if I find the basic force somehow, I think we're looking fine. Well, now it maybe not so much. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so here's a Dryad. And again, holding on to this in case this somehow survives. I mean, this probably forces the minus on the Chandra. But if that happens, maybe... Oh, that's so bad for me. Although I guess that... Yeah, okay, I've seen enough. Because now even if I do resolve the primetime map, it just kills me with the Chandra emblem, so this looks good, these look good. Extra Boseiju seems good to me. Cut Sagas, bring in Trackers, and don't really care for Endurance. Force is fine. Maybe a Gracer. Maybe they have, what's his name? Maybe they have Monkey, but this is probably still fine. Emrakul is interesting, but I don't think that's going to be the plan here. Now, what's going on with people playing Ponza now? What the hell? Yeah, ship this. The Garbagest of hands. Alright, here we go. Expedition map can find Boseiju, which is kind of nice. I think I'm okay exposing this. So we just need to draw business. If we find stuff to do, I think we're going to be fine. But we just have to find stuff to do. Tracker, Dryad, sure. I'll take a Gracer, I guess. And I think it's 100% that my opponent has a Blood Moon effect here, so I'm not even gonna bother playing this. There you go. So now we kind of ramped a little bit here. Tracker would have been a great draw there. Bloodbraid into what? Into Ancient Grudge. This is a card that shouldn't be in my opponent's deck for what's worth. So blow up Blood Moon, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so I guess I don't have to blow it up right now because I don't want to ramp my opponent. So take 3 again, and my opponent could be playing Monkey. So we're just gonna sit on this until we can make good use of it. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Okay. Can we please draw any business spell whatsoever? Any business spell. Any business spell. Come on. Mostly not a business spell. We got our Colossus, so there's no reason to hold on to those. So I imagine... No, I mean, we're just one prime time away from winning, right? Tracker could also be very good. So maybe that's a reason to hold on to land there. Just for Tracker. Fury. Yep. Take 5. This is so frustrating, man. This is so fucking frustrating. A rank ping my Gracer. That's so mean. Oh, they don't ping Gracer. Prime time. Jeez. Alright. So, cast Primeval Titan. Having access to this member is kind of nice. And I think I'm gonna go Boseiju plus Bounce Land here to set up an answer for another potential Blood Moon. Prime time's probably gonna block the Gobbo. We have Dismember for Fury. And I guess a Chum Block on the Bloodbraid Elf. Double Lightning Bolt and we lose. That's fine, we got that covered. Unless they also have Lightning Bolt. If they have Bolt for the Gracer, then we are gonna be in trouble. Clothis. So now I have to Fury block the... Okay. Dismember there. Untap. Try it. Whoo! Ding 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 ding. That's a winner, Forks. That's a winner. Attack them. And I think we're just going to go Valakut Vesuva. I'm not going to play around my opponent having Boseiju, I don't think. Because if they had Boseiju, I think they would have used it. Although I guess that's not true. But yeah, I mean, I just don't think there's any other combination that allows me to get out of this. Because they have the 4-5 blocker. So I think that going for broke there is the line. So they have Ren, they have... Do I want explosives is the question. Don't think I want Relic. They showed me Magus. Firespout looks fantastic. They showed me multiple Blood Moons. And I think we're just gonna submit like this. They didn't show me Monkey. Ugh. Ship this. Okay. This hand is so bad. What is good against Magus? Turn 1 Dork. Turn 1 Monkey. I think I just have to kill this over Magus. Like, that's how fucked up this is. I think I just have to kill this over Magus. Because that's gonna run away with the game. I'm not playing the Amulet, my opponent showed me Grudge. There's no reason for me to allow them to use their mana profitably. Interesting. Okay. So play this. Bounce here. Play Azusa. Play land. Play Bounce land. Alright. I mean, if we get to untap... Wait, what? Why didn't they bolt before? Bloodbraid into Fable. Alright. Sweet. Got there. We're gonna go for haste. I'm gonna try to maximize my advantage here. Nice. Does that change anything? I don't think so. I don't think that changes anything. So, prime time, leaving white floating. So we're gonna do Valakut plus Stronghold. Wow, so they kept in no Magus. I'm very surprised by that. No Magus, no Blood Moon. I think I'm just gonna bounce the Boseiju. I just think that even if they play Blood Moon right now, they're just a little bit too far behind. And now Magus would get me, but Blood Moon would not. Discarding Bolt and Ignoble Hierarch. Just gonna take it here. There's no reason to get, blown out by Chandra, so double Bolt. Yeah. Just reading my opponent like an open book. Just reading my opponent like an open book. Prime time, yes. We're just gonna go. This is just lethal. Just gonna go for double strike. My opponent's tapped out. Nothing they can do. Bounce here, bounce there, attack them. Alright, 4-on-1 beating Ponza. You love to see it. You love to see it. Something special about beating Ponza, you know? Something very special about beating Ponza. Good block, opponent. Good block. 4-1. Feels good to get some nice little PPs, doesn't it? This list felt pretty solid. The Endurance main deck did not come up that much, but I was pretty happy with the rest of my decisions, and I still think that this is worth testing. I just think that Endurance lines up very well against the format. We just didn't happen to play against those matches. But even still, like, we did get paired against Oopso spells, for example. Like, and if we had been on the play, Endurance would have been the difference between winning and losing, for example. So we definitely had like a bunch of little things going on in terms of justifying the inclusion of Endurance. And obviously, whenever you start playing against stuff like UR Murktide, this card becomes that much better. So I feel like having actually the first copy is pretty strong. As far as the rest of the shell, it felt solid. Going more on Rule Turf in order to enable first bout is still a question mark. But against Magus of the Moon deck, it feels fine. Our only loss being to Yorion Mardu Reanimator is kind of weird. Like, that kind of matchup is pretty good. Like, you saw, like, game 1, we mulled to 5, ended up keeping it effectively an O-lander, and then never got there. Game number 2 was, game number 3, sorry, was just, we got blown out by being just a little bit too slow. But yeah, I like the list a lot. It was a fine league, played a lot of grindy matches, and yeah, it really showcased the power of the deck. Still not super sure about the 2 copies of Colossus. Like, it's been so awkward so many times. Like, it's not really a card that I'm actively looking to play naturally. If it just happens to line up, sure, like, it's great, but you're just asking for so many ifs at that point. Like, we need to, it's good if we have like maybe an Amulet or multiples of them, and if we have an Azusa or Dryad going on, and if we have a bunch of lands already in hand. Usually that doesn't line up. Like, Colossus is more of like a hammer that you use after you have resolved the Titan. Titan finds a couple of bounce lands, returns some lands to hand, and now your Colossus is that much better. But just like naturally casting the Colossus feels a little bit, when you keep a hand, when you mulligan, sorry, a hand, you look at your opening hand and there's a Colossus sitting there. It's just like, this is not really doing anything for me at all. So because of that, maybe like the 2 copies, maybe 1 too many. But yeah, I mean, there's certain matchups where it's great. If you expel a lot of 4-color, I think that Colossus is just fantastic. But maybe that could be like another Explorer, and that could smooth out our draws a little bit better, and then we just play the second copy of Colossus in the sideboard, maybe, or the second tracker or something like that. Definitely a couple of different ways that we can go about it. Lots of things to try out still. But besides that, deck looked pretty good. I would like to find room for a Crumbling Vestige somewhere. Maybe over the castle, maybe over the 3rd copy of Cavern, but I don't think it's over the 3rd copy of Cavern. Maybe over the 2nd Delicate. But yep, hopefully you enjoyed this league. If you did, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And if you're interested, as I was saying, in coaching or me playing any deck of you're choosing, like the one that you see over here, you can find all the information you need in the description of the video down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.